This week I'm continuing with the LEGO AT-AT. Last time we did parts bags numbers 1 and 2, which is on the table here, and there was so much detail I decided to make it its own video. So today I'm going to continue with bag number 3. I'll see how far we get. There's starting to be some repeatability in the build, so I think I'll do at least bags 3 and 4 and just see how repeatable it is. Bag 3 is already on the table. Let's get to building. So just added some pins here. This is where the legs are going to connect. One last attachment point with a side-facing stud. Now time for the actual leg construction. Big gear. So these pins are on the same side. This frame gets pushed in sideways. It's going to be a nightmare to take apart. I hate it when these pins are on the inside of the frame. Oh, how on earth am I going to be able to take this apart? So this pin that went in here is flush with the outside. It connects this green Technic element to this Technic element to this orange pin. But the only way to get any of this out is to pull this pin out. That is not going to be fun. I'm just thinking ahead here because eventually this will get taken apart. I'm going to have to push this orange pin, get this out just a little bit, and hope I can get a fingernail underneath it and then pull it out. Oof. Flip this over. Now, I've got to be careful with my alignment here. Another subassembly. A couple of very small spiral gears. I've seen a spiral gear before, but not quite this small. This will get put in between those two Technic parts and held together with this pin. A little tricky to thread it through. Second half of this assembly. Bring the first half over. Oh, okay, so the spiral gear is now connected into that wheel, and that can turn. Okay, I like that. Put that over. I always hate connecting across multiple Technic pins. One side in, the other side pops out. Flip this around. Flip it over again, and more side studs. So obviously these are for later attachment points for the panels that are going to go to cover up the leg. Okay, before I cover all this up, I just want to quickly show this assembly. So a lot of side-facing studs now with these Technic pins sticking out. But the main feature is this rotating spiral assembly, which will make this gear turn. So there's one open end of a Technic pin here. I'm assuming something gets attached to that, and that's going to cause this to rotate. Because I can't turn this and rotate the gear. The spiral gear has to turn in order to rotate that assembly. I'm excited to see how this all functions. Now to start covering some stuff up. Turn this over again. Something's not right. Something's just not right. What am I doing wrong here? I missed a part. So this goes here. So this looks right. This should be 7 studs. 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 6, 7. Right. This should go right to the end of that stud. So like right there. But then these don't line up. Why don't they line up? So I've got my two side panels on here now, but this one is past the end. This one is before the end. But in the picture, it looks like they're flush with the end. But I can't move this any further forward because it'll go over that pin. Is it just the picture looking incorrect? No, I think this one should be moved forward. So do I have the right number of studs sticking out this way? Actually, I don't have to change that. This is a separate piece. Right, I just have to move this forward to there. Now they align. Okay, that at least looks better. I think the picture just is a little misleading in the instructions. A big panel section. Again, alignment. What is my alignment here? Should be flush with those two parts. Panel for this side. That's a pretty simple panel. And one last panel part. Well, here's the completed upper quarter of the leg. The construction was a bit tricky, trying to get things aligned properly. Now I need two of these, and they are identical. It's supposed to be locked. Oh, shit. Why is that a different color? Did I put this on the wrong side? Okay, that can't rotate. What did I do wrong? This one I have wrong. So I put all of these assemblies on the wrong side. It should have been on this side, that frame. Not the end of the world. Oh, kind of is the end of the world because I got to take this assembly off. Shit. Okay, that pin is out. Let's try this again. This way. Right, that is now fixed. All right, now this all goes in there. This slips over. Right, now that's all locked in there. Okay. Oh, it goes a lot faster when you know what you're doing. There's my two upper leg assemblies. Now I've got to attach it onto here. Now, these were built in opposite pairs, and I'm assuming that's because of the offset on the frame. So how will these get attached? Looks like no other choice. They just go over all 7 of these Technic pins. At least that went on okay. Same thing over here. Oh, that attached very easily. Still got some parts left though. Quite a few parts. Ooh, a printed brick. The Imperial emblem. Pin and ball joint? Huh. This actually doesn't get installed in the set. This is like a functional tool. So what it shows doing, there's a Technic pin in here. If you use this tool, attach it in there. So stick it on the Technic pin, and if you turn, oh, okay. This is what you use to adjust the position of the legs. That's an interesting way of doing it because they won't rotate on their own. You have to use this tool in order to move that gear assembly. That's an interesting way to do it for sure. And I've already got ideas of how I can use this to do stop motion animation because this is a pretty precise movement. We'll get to that at some point in the future. So interesting, but don't need it for now, so I'm going to set it aside. A few more parts to install. There's 2 Technic pins down here. And 2 more small panels to cover up some of those exposed studs. So that's the end of bag number 3. We have 2 of the upper leg assemblies done. So next up is bag number 4, the other 2 leg assemblies. The construction is going to be nearly identical to what we just did. Here's the 2 legs, identical to the other 2 except for this one part that is white instead of orange. Bring our assembly back over. Still difficult to get 7 Technic pins all to go in at the same time. Just gotta not be afraid to give it a squeeze. Ooh, there we go. There we have it, the end of bag number 4. Our upper sections of all 4 legs are now done. We've got our tool that can be used to adjust the position of all the legs. I'm not going to bother doing that right now. I showed it at the end of bag number 3. So obviously a lot of repeatability. I only showed the construction of one of the assemblies and then the rest of them are identical. But that one assembly was actually so detailed, I wanted to take the time to show all of the different parts going together. So because of that, I'm going to keep this as its own video. And next time we'll start box number 2, instruction manual number 2, and it'll be bag number 5 that we'll be starting with. Let me know what you think of the build so far in the comments. I'm not a big fan of builds that have a lot of repetitive construction, just because it's really boring. Obviously with a set like this, symmetry is very important for how it's going to look. And I mean, it does look really nice. I'll turn it up the way it's supposed to be. It will stand on the legs. It's just standing on the Technic pins right now. You get a sense for how big this is really going to be. I was debating how to do the editing on this build. Do I do a couple really long videos or a lot of really short videos? And I'm opting for more videos but shorter. When the construction gets detailed like some of the parts of this is, I prefer to have the shorter videos so I can show more of the actual construction. So next up is bag number 5 and the lower half of the 4 legs. But we'll do that next time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll continue with this build next time.